Next up we have Youkai Watch. The story begins one hot summer day when a boy named Keita discovers an old capsule toy vending machine in the forest. Keita receives a mysterious watch and meets a ghost butler named Whisper. Whisper tells Keita that the watch allows him to find hidden supernatural creatures, both good and evil, that he could not see before in everyday life. With Whisper and his other companion, Jibanya, Keita explores his town for other ghosts to battle. Oh. It seems like it could be interesting because he could meet various supernatural creatures that were both good and evil, and you could have interesting, encounters and interactions with them. But apparently he's just gonna battle them. It really is just an advertisement for various capsule toys, isn't it? God damn it. In that case, I'm gonna skip it. It's not that big a deal. Oh well. I wish it was just about a guy going around seeing supernatural creatures and just interacting with them. And that was the sound of everyone saying, Riyoga, you have such shit taste in premises. Why are you so boring? Anyways, moving on, we have Chuunibyou Demokoi ga Shitai, which is a sequel to the Chuunibyou Demokoi ga Shitai CV series, which I watched, so I gotta say the premise. High school freshman Yuta Togashi was once a Chuunibyou patient, i.e. an overly self-conscious middle schooler. He wants to bury this embarrassing past and begins a new life in high school, unsuccessfully. His classmate Rika Takanashi, a current Chuunibyou patient, has found traces of residual symptoms on him and used the fact to force Togashi into making a contract with her. So, I watched the first season of Chuunibyou, and I know a billion people constantly ask, well, not a billion people, but a lot of people constantly ask me to review the show. I'm not going to, because of a simple fact that my opinion of the first season is incredibly indifferent. And I just cannot review something that I'm indifferent about, because I'll literally just have like a minute to talk about some stuff at the show, and then I'll just be like, I just don't care enough. I've actually started scripts on occasional shows that I was indifferent to, and I just did not finish the scripts for those reviews because I was indifferent to the shows. I had no willpower to finish those scripts because they were just the scripts were turning out so boring because I didn't care. And this is one of them. I don't have any positive or negative inclinations toward the show. I literally do not care. However, I did watch the first season, and because of that, I may as well watch the second season. It could turn my opinion around. Maybe I'll actually care about things this season. Maybe I'll start liking it. Maybe I'll start fucking hating it. I don't know. All I know is that if it has more Tuka, then I don't really care. Isn't her name pronounced like Toka in the show? Why is it spelled Tooka? Makes no sense. Anyway, she was the best thing to come out of Chuunibyou anyways. Because she's like one of the hottest anime characters ever made. What is it with side characters being like the hottest characters anime makes? First her, and then there was like the fucking like bar nurse chick in Walkaway Romance. Like, she was the only good thing about the show. Like, what the hell is it with side characters being like the best ones? I don't understand. Anyways, moving on. We have, wait, let me see this in my Ototo voice. Oni-chan. Oh god, that was horrible. Oni-chan ga kita. The story revolves around Tomoya Mizuhara, a 13-year-old boy who suddenly gains a big sister when his father remarries. 17-year-old Ichika is a little strange, and her affection for Tomoya is rather overwhelming, if not scary. On top of things, Ichika's friend Ruri is the ultimate sadist. Then there's Ichika's big-breasted quarter-Japanese friend Marina. You had me up until the big-breasted quarter-Japanese friend Marina. See, here's how this works. This is what threw me off of the show. I'm gonna go into detail here. Well, it's not gonna take that long, but still. It was going first, and it was okay. First, it was like, he got a new sister, and I was like, okay, this could be some stupid, ecchi, bullshit, incestual stuff following Oraimo, except the sister's older this time. But then it got, her affection's a little strange, and maybe overwhelming, if not scary. And then I thought, okay, maybe it's a comedy, because here's her personality. She's overwhelming, if not scary, with her affection. I can see a lot of jokes coming out of that. And then they followed up with, on top of things, Ichika's friend Ruri is the ultimate sadist. And I'm like, okay, cool. Another character that has a wacky personality that could cause him, some fun hijinks and, jokes and such. That's cool. And then the last one came. Big-breasted quarter-Japanese friend Marina. Being big-breasted is not a personality trait. I'm sorry. There are no jokes to come out of this, other than, hey, you have boobs. I like boobs. Boobs are boobs. It's not funny. There's no personality at work here to make it funny. It's just she has boobs, and they're big. It's so funny because they're big. Fuck. You had me, show. You had me up until that last character. Give it a shot if you want. It's probably a comedy, but I'm just so offended by that ending because they were doing so well that I'm not even gonna bother. Let me know if it's funny. If it's not, then don't even tell me. Or whatever. Or maybe you should tell me, then I'll know I'm right. I don't fucking know. I'm not gonna bother. Moving on. We have ZX Ignition. The story is set in the not-so-distant future. 5 black points suddenly appeared around the world as portals to parallel worlds. Immediately after, strange creatures began their invasion from these portals. These creatures are the inhabitants of 5 worlds, the same worlds as in different time frames. In order to ensure their own future time frame survives, each of the 5 invasion forces battle to wipe the other future time frames out. The key is one card-shaped device. Just looking at it right here, this is based on a card game, so it's probably really incredibly stupid, and I have a policy to not, except for Yu-Gi-Oh!, not watch shows based on card games, because they're typically just, they're advertisements. That's all they are. At least Yu-Gi-Oh! Felt like more than an advertisement for the card game. I mean, this kind of seems like it is too, but at the same time, it seems like it's trying way too fucking hard. Like, what kind of complex plot is this? Where they're inhabitants of different worlds, which are the same world, but in different time frames? It's like time travel and dimensional travel. It's like, just fucking have wacky shit happen with card games. That's all people care about. Yu-Gi-Oh! Didn't need any, well, I guess now the new seasons do, but the original season didn't need crazy bullshit happening like this. It had some magical artifacts that allowed people to cheat with the game, which kind of made sense in a way. It was actually an interesting mechanic in the story. But, yeah, I don't care. It's just a card game. It's a show based on a card game. I don't give a shit. Moving on. We have Pupa, which is... I'm actually not going to bother to read the story synopsis. You can read it yourself in the blurry text if you want to, I guess. Because I actually read the synopsis last season, because that was when it was supposed to air. Dean has been having a lot of trouble getting this show out, simply because of how fucking grotesque it is. I mentioned it before, and I'm gonna repeat myself here from the last seasonal preview. Not that repeating myself is a foreign concept to me. This show is a lot of body horror. I've seen the first chapter of the manga, and some of the drawings that they do for the stuff that happens is seriously grotesque. It is some serious body horror. So it's not horror in the sense of, like, Higurashi, I guess, where, like, seeing things are tense and who's gonna get murdered and things like that. It's not like a mystery in any sense. It's just really body horror. And, like, all this grotesque shit is going on. I actually really, I don't think I mentioned it in last seasonal preview, but if I did, I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself on this. I really like the preview teaser they released for this show, which I may link in the description for the video if I remember to, which I probably won't, but hopefully I do. It's perfect because it starts off with something you would expect to be for the show based on the synopsis, sort of like some kind of weird, ecchi, ancestral thing between the brother and sister. And so it starts, it's a bunch of like, Oni-chan, Oni-chan, Oni-chan. And it's like, like lovingly chanted. So you're like, oh, dumb hijinks. And then it ends with her like eating like a portion of his like liver or something. She eats some kind of like, flesh and it has like the most grotesque meaty sounds as she does it. Ugh. It's a great teaser. I really hope I remember to link the teaser in the video description because it's the perfect teaser to decide if you should watch the show. If you like that teaser, you should watch the show. If you get weirded out or grossed out or you can't stand the teaser, then you probably shouldn't watch it because it's only gonna get worse. I'm not kidding. I'm not trying to over-exaggerate or under-exaggerate the body horror here. It is... I normally am not bothered too much by how things look because it's fictional, but some of the drawings for things in Pupa in the manga was pretty crazy. I still really want to watch the show when it gets out. Hopefully it'll finally get out this season. They don't have to worry about any more delays. They've had a lot of time to work on the show now since it's been delayed so much, but there you go. So, yeah, that's Pupa. The conflicted releasing problems of Pupa and the many body grotesque horror that will come of it. Like I said, teaser will probably tell you if you should watch the show. Next, we have Mahou Sensou. In this modern magic action story, Takeshi Nanaze is an ordinary high school boy who has a somewhat dark past. Due to certain circumstances, he formed a fake couple with his childhood friend, Kurumi Isoshima, but otherwise he lives a normal life. However, one day he comes across a girl named Mui Aiba in a uniform he has never seen before, collapsed on the school campus. This encounter, not encounters. This encounter changes Takeshi's destiny completely. Mui tells Takeshi that she is a magician, and she apologizes for she turned Takeshi into a magician too. What Takeshi once knew as one world is actually two, the world where magicians live and the world where humans live. This actually seems interesting. The synopsis, or not necessarily the synopsis, but the setting and how it's described vaguely reminds me of Shakugan no Shana. because I automatically associate everything with Shana. No, if I don't know, it gives me that kind of vibe. I don't think it'll be as good as Shannon, like just talking generally here, but I have heard talk of this light novel before, and a lot of people do really like it. And apparently a lot of people are passing it off as stupid generic bullshit because it even describes itself ordinary high school boy who does something, and then gets thrown into this magical realm. And I don't care about that kind of, genre setup, because a lot of shows that do that genre setup do it really well. Shanna did it the best. But a lot of shows do it just as well. A lot of shows don't do it well, which is why it has the bad rap that it has for having generic protagonists. When actually there are a lot of shows that do it just fine, like I said. And this is, a lot of people have been saying this is really good, and people shouldn't be, bashing it before it has come out yet, because it's actually an example of one of the really good ones. And that got me interested. I'll watch it. I want to see if it's true, if people are not lying, because it's not like it's a foreign concept that people have stupid opinions. But I'm curious. I want to know if it's good or bad, so I'm going to watch it. I'm really interested. I'm actually slightly, maybe just a tiny little portion hyped for it, just because the setting reminds me a bit of Shanna. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, I hope it's good, like people say. Next up, we have Sakura Trick. The story revolves around Haruka and Yu, two girls who go to high school that is slated to be shut down in 3 years, to share something special between them. They share a kiss, and the relationship deepens from that moment onward. So, obviously, it's a Yuri show. It's being done by Studio Dean, which is interesting because Studio Dean is famous for, well, not famous, what Studio Dean's actually famous for is their quality animation. Quality in all parentheses that I can manage. But they're also really known for their yaoi shows that they do. Those get them the most money because they're the studio that pretty much does them, and that's it. So now that they're doing a Yuri show, that's really interesting. That they're going out of their comfort zone, because their target audience is, the female otaku who like the yaoi stuff. And now that they're going with Yuri, which is like the completely opposite audience, it's interesting to see how well it'll do. And I kind of want to watch it. I've never actually watched a Yuri TV series fully through. I've seen, but it's not really the same thing. So I want to watch a series like this. The only worry I have is that it gets a little self-important, which is the case with shows that are yaoi shows. Because I've seen episodes of them, and they get so... The problem I have with this is so self-aware of how people see yaoi that it's just like every time, the male characters like touch each other, like flowers bloom all over the background. And it's just so... It feels meta in a way. Like the show is aware what people want to see, and it does exactly that. And so it kind of, in a way, pulls you out of the show, because it feels like it's like an analytical product. Like, what are we supposed to do here that'll make the audience like it? And, in that sort of way. I just want it to be... What I'm saying is I want the show to just be a natural, I feel like I should just say lesbian instead of Yuri. I just want it to be a normal Yuri romance without any self-important bullshit going on. Just two characters, they fall for each other, things happen, and things happen. That's it. That's all I really want. It doesn't have to be, completely self-important. It just has to be, just normal is fine. In fact, that's what you should do, because it is just normal. But who knows? Like I said, I really want to watch it just because I've never seen a Yuri TV show, period, pretty much. So I want to do one. So I'll watch it. I hope it turns out well. I really do. Next we have the second season of Silver Spoon, which I'm not going to bother to say I should say the premise. Yugo Hachiken dreams of a life separated from his family, so he takes the initiative by enrolling in an agriculture school. He thinks with his talent in studying, no problems will arise no matter what kind of school he attends. He is proven wrong very quickly. Raised as a city boy, he is forced to uncover the inconvenient truth about agricultural life. So, it kind of sucks that Silver Spoon isn't all that talked about. It wasn't all that popular when it aired. I mean, it wasn't, like, not talked about at all, but it reached nowhere near the popularity of Full Metal Alchemist, which is the other work that the author has done, which I should mention if you haven't heard this before. The author of Silver Spoon is the same author who did Full Metal Alchemist, which is kind of crazy difference when you think about it. Like, that's kind of a leap to go from one work to another like that. That's so different. But it continues with, just like Full Metal Alchemist, as really, really, really good character writing. The first season was really good in this way. It had a nice, very self-contained story about eating cute little animals. It's actually really interesting. And I know I use the word interesting a lot, but I'm just not reviewing anything here. I'm just talking about what I'm interested in. It was cool how it balanced out, this new character that had never done this agricultural stuff before in his questioning of the usual practices that people do without really thinking about it. Which is why it was so interesting. Hachiken was basically the voice of questions for everyone, like, oh, why is this a thing? And they're just kind of like, well, we do it because of this. And it made people think about what they did. And so, it brought up a lot of really interesting questions. And I like how it doesn't sway morally one way or the other as far as the practices, as far as especially like animal butchering goes, and just a lot of the harsh stuff that comes with the territory when it comes to farming and other things like that. It didn't really paint it as negative and not necessarily positive either, though. It was just sort of like, this is how it is, and this is how people do it, and it's not a good or a bad thing. It's just for some people and not for others. And which I really appreciate, and a lot of people who watch it also appreciated. And it's a really good show. I mean, I was worried about it when it was gonna start airing because I'm not really one for an agricultural type setting. I'm a city person, obviously. I make videos on the fucking internet. I'm a city person. But this was still really, really, really interesting to watch. And if you passed it up simply because of the setting, I definitely recommend that you change your mind. And if you liked Full Metal Alchemist, you should definitely watch this too, because it has the same good character writing. Not any of the crazy, over-the-top action stuff that Full Metal Alchemist has, obviously, but the character writing is still just as good. And it has a lot of the same style of comedy too. In fact, I actually think it's a bit funnier than Full Metal Alchemist because it's a little less shonen-y. So it doesn't have the similar style of shonen comedy with over-exaggerated chibi characters and stuff like that, which is a comedy style that I've never really been too fond of. Anyways, I'm talking way too much about these separate shows. I need to hurry the fuck up here. Next we have Strange Plus. The story begins with a teenage boy named Ko who came to the slums to search for Takumi, his missing big brother who ran away years ago. The brothers reunite, and it turns out that Takumi now heads the Mikakunin Detective Agency. Ko wants to bring Takumi back, but he doesn't want to go back home himself, so he starts working at the agency doing odds and ends. I don't know. The promo art is a little interesting to me in a way, I guess, but at the same time, it's not really enticing me to watch the show. It's just kind of like, I don't really care all that much, to be honest. It's not pulling me in, and considering I'm giving so many other shows this season a shot, I don't really want to necessarily go out of my way to also watch this, because it didn't pull me in right away. That synopsis didn't give me the hook. It may not be the show's fault. It may just be the chart maker's fault for, maybe the synopsis isn't as good as it could be. Maybe there's a better synopsis out there. But it's not really pulling at me, so I'm probably just going to give it a pass. Next, we have Go-Go 575. The anime adapts Sega's Project 575, a game which lets anyone create songs using the traditional Japanese 575 syllable meter found in haiku and tanka poems. How the fuck do you make a show out of this? That's the real question. I almost want to watch it just because I'm morbidly fascinated how you make a show out of a concept like this. Based on a game like this. I don't fucking know. A bunch of girls making poems, I guess, based on the promo art? I don't know. Seems kind of boring in that case. So, I don't care. Cute girls make haiku poems. I don't know. If I don't know. Maybe you'll like it if you're serious about your moe girls. But, I don't know. That seems like it's all it's really gonna be. A bunch of cute girls making haiku poems and such. Moving on, we have Houzuki no Reitetsu. The dark comedy revolves around the fierce god aide to the great king Yama Houzuki. Calm and super sadistic, he tries to resolve problems that often occur in hell. What's interesting about this show isn't just the short synopsis, but the fact that it's being made by Wit Studio. Yes, this is the next show being made by the studio that brought you Attack on Titan. Which is a very interesting jump. It seems like it's a lot more, I was about to say down to earth, but it takes place in hell. It's a lot more grounded than Attack on Titan, obviously. Not as crazy, fantastical, over-the-top action. And it seems more interesting to me because of that. I'm sorry, I'm past the age where over-the-top action is enough to hook me in. It can be enjoyable, but I'm not going to really care all that much beyond it, I guess. This is a show that appeals to me more than Attack on Titan, premise-wise, because it just seems interesting. Plus, it's a dark comedy, the best kind of comedy. It's a calm and super sadistic dude trying to solve problems in hell. That makes for the perfect dark comedy. It's I don't know, I really want to watch it just because I want to see, I don't know if they're going to be using all that money they got from Attack on Titan. They're probably saving that for the second season of Attack on Titan, which is definitely going to be made, unless they're allergic to money. Which no one is, so it will eventually be made. But I really want to see what they do with this, just the fact that they've done Attack on Titan and now they're doing this. It seems interesting and so different for them in comparison that I want to see how they do it and how they pull it off and just how it's presented in general. I want to see if they can do something other than over-the-top fantasy action. Now it's just a normal kind of fantasy? I guess baby steps, right? Next we have Mikakunin de Shinkoukei, which I probably mispronounced. The comedy revolves around Kopemi Yonomori, who on her 16th birthday suddenly has a young man with little presents named Hakuya Mitsumine and his younger sister Mashiro appear in front of her. It turns out that Hakuya is her fiancé, and Mashiro is her future sister-in-law. The three and Konbeni's older sister, Benio, start living together underneath the same roof and hilarious happenings occur. So obviously it's a comedy, but I'm not sure if I really want to watch it because it doesn't really appeal to me all that much. It doesn't, just the premise alone doesn't seem like all that funny. Like in comparison to what we just read with Houzuki no Reitetsu, it's that, this sounds like a full-on synopsis for a, taking care of problems in hell, dark comedy. It makes sense. This is just like a young man with little presents showed up, and then his younger sister too, and now they're gonna get married, and hilarious things are gonna happen. I just don't see how the premise leads to any jokes from there. It doesn't necessarily have to, the characters themselves could lead to the jokes, but usually you want the premise to also make sense joke-wise, because it adds to the jokes. But yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't seem all that... I just don't care, okay? I don't care. Moving on, we have Nourin. The light novels center on the students at the Tamo Agricultural High School, Tamanorin Koka, shortened to Nourin. Kosaka Hata is a student there and is something of an idol otaku. The newest transfer student happens to be this super popular idol Yuka Kusakabe, who Kosaka adores. The school also has a childhood friend with a local dialect, a Bishonen with glasses, a cute animal mascot, a girl with large breasts, a female teacher prone to flight of fancy, and more. And if you remember what I said before, you know why I have my face in my hands right now. Japan. Why do you think big breasts are a personality trait? God fucking damn it. To be fair, they also have a Bishonen with glasses as a personality trait. But, god damn it. At least with glasses characters, there's a very common personality trait attached to them. Whereas with big-breasted characters, there is also kind of a common personality trait there, but it's much less standard, I guess. There's more variation than just that personality, as compared to glasses-wearing characters. Japan, please, give them actual, I'm sure she has an actual personality, but it's just, an advertisements like that, it's just instant buzzkill. I'll probably watch it anyways, simply because it's Silver Link, and I've said multiple times in other preview charts that I am biased. Well, not necessarily biased, I just like Silver Link and their visual style. As you can see in the promo art, I like the colorful style they have. And so I watch their shows regardless. Which is kind of dumb because I haven't even liked a Silver Link show in a while now. So I don't know why I still like to watch their shows when they do end up usually being a waste of time. But I'm gonna do it anyways. I'm gonna give it a shot. And it's based on a light novel, so who knows? It could be pretty good. I don't know. I just don't know. Next, we have Wake Up Girls. The story follows 7 girls who aspire to star in the Idol Sengoku Jidai, idol warring states period of modern day. Green Leaves Entertainment is a tiny production company on the verge of going out of business in Sendai, the biggest city in Japan's northeastern Tohoku region. The agency once managed the careers of magicians, photo idols, fortune tellers, and other entertainers, but its last remaining client finally quit. In danger of having zero talent, the president hatches an idea of producing an idol group. On the brash president's orders, the dissatisfied manager Matsuda heads out to scout raw talent. Matsuda makes a fateful encounter with a certain girl. This sounds like fucking Idolmaster. Well, not necessarily, but in just the go out and find some idols and it's gonna follow the producer person, well, manager this time, but essentially he's finding chicks to be idols, and yeah. I don't know. It's another synopsis that doesn't care to me. I don't really care about idols in general. The only reason I'm giving the previous show a shot is because, like I said, I'm dumb and I like to watch Silver Link shows. Because, I don't know, maybe they'll finally make a show I like again. But yeah, I don't care. I don't. I'm sorry. Next we have Nisekoi, or Nisekoi. Nisekoi follows high school student Raku Ichijo, the son of a leader in the Yakuza faction Shuegumi, and Chitogo Kirasaka, the daughter of a boss in a rival gang known as Beehive. They unexpectedly meet when Chitoge, I'm assuming it's Chitoge, hops a wall and knees Raku in the face. After she runs off, Raku realizes he has lost his pendant, which was given to him by his childhood sweetheart with whom he made a secret promise. After discovering Chitoge as a new transfer student in his class, he forces her to help him look for the pendant. During the search, they begin to dislike each other. So Nisekoi is actually a really popular manga, which everyone I'm sure probably already knows. So there's a lot of hype for this show, and I'm not really all that hyped for it, but I'm still gonna watch it simply because I don't know. I like to see what the hype is about and decide whether it's actually all that good or not. Just, you know, I like to see for myself. That and the fact that Shaft is adapting it. This is a pretty darn popular manga being adapted by Shaft. It's like, imagine if something else was adapted. What if a fucking Attack on Titan was adapted by Shaft? What if Nanoha was adapted by Shaft? Well, technically, Nanoha actually had Akiyuki Shimbo direct it, but the studio that worked on it was 7 Arcs. I don't think Shaft had been made yet when Nanoha came out. I think he used the popularity from Nanoha to make Shaft, I believe. Don't hold me to that. But still, it's like imagining any of those other super popular manga being adapted by Shaft. What kind of crazy shit are they going to do? Maybe they'll actually tone it back. Maybe they won't go crazy with the visual style. But I'm really interested to see what they do with the wildly popular manga and their usual, typically crazy visual style. So I'm actually really interested to see how it turns out, despite my lack of interest in, the series itself. Next, we have Sekai Seifuku Boraku no Zezda. The weirdest title I've ever mispronounced. The story follows Zvezda, a secret society bent on glorious world conquest, and led by a little girl. God damn it, Japan. Wizard Barristers, Benmashi Cecil. The story takes place in Tokyo in 2018, where normal humans and those who can use magic coexist. As a result, there are laws against using magic, and a magic courtroom exists to preside over lawsuits regarding magic use. In these cases, Benmashi or Wizard Barristers, I'm mispronouncing everything today, defend those who use magic. The anime follows Cecil, the youngest Benmashi in history, and her associates as they defend clients in these cases. I like how the promo art looks like it's gonna be some crazy magical adventure with crazy action going around, like, shoot magical powers at everyone, and then the synopsis says it's a bunch of courtroom trials. Well, it may not necessarily be a bunch of courtroom trials, but basically the courtroom trials that follow those actions, which actually kind of interests me. I think it could be actually, I don't know if it's gonna be funny, but I actually think it's interesting in that it's going to be, the synopsis is advertising the court cases and defending them in their magic use. It's probably going to be a balance of both. It's probably going to be like whether they should use the magic or not, and then, defending them in the cases. But I don't know. It's so weird and get interesting at the same time that I'm really interested to see it. I don't know. I want to see like kind of like conflict happening in court cases and whether they can defend some people in their use of magic, and maybe if they're lawyers, they'll have to defend bad people who use magic, regardless of if they want to or not. You know? It's interesting. It's probably not actually going to be all that interesting because winter season, like I said, tone down the hype, winter season. But I don't know. I still want to give it a go. It hooked me. I'll drop it if it's stupid, which it probably will end up being, unfortunately, but who knows, maybe it won't be. Next we have Inari Kongon Inari Kongon Koi Iroha. The story revolves around Inari Fushimi, a shy, not-so-bright middle school girl living in Kyoto's Fushimi ward. She has a crush on her classmate Tanabashi, but cannot express her feelings. One day, as thanks for helping a fox pup, the deity Ukonomitabana Kami grants her the ability to change her form. So, synopsis-wise, it seems like it could lead to some interesting events, but in and of itself, it sounds like it could also be really boring. I'm sure the synopsis is selling it short, but unfortunately, the synopsis is selling it short. And so, therefore, I'm not all that interested to watch it, so, Sorry, Inari. If people say you're good, I might just pick you up, though. How about that? If people say you're good, I'll pick you up, and this time I mean it. No, I probably don't. Next, we have Makinki Tsu. Is it like a pun on two? Anyways, it's a sequel to the Makinki TV series, which I didn't watch, and based on that promo art, I never want to watch. So if you've seen the original Makinki, here you go! More little short blonde girls in bathing suits that don't even make physical sense. Yay! Next we have Precure, which is like the 11th television series in the fucking Precure Magical Girl anime franchise, which has been airing like non-stop for like 11 seasons in a row because it's so goddamn popular. Did the last Precure series even end? I don't even know. It's stupid popular though. If you like Precure, here's more Precure. And then next we have the actual, is it a remake? I don't know if it's a remake or just like a sequel or something for Sailor Moon. I'm gonna read the synopsis. Summary from the original manga. Oh, it's just the original manga. I think it's a remake of Sailor Moon from forever ago. And all it says, though, is winter 2014, so it may not air this season, though. In fact, I will probably bet you right now that it will not air this season. So, tone down the hype if you just got excited. Probably ain't gonna air this season. It was like, wasn't it supposed to air like the last 2 seasons, too? It's been announced like every season, and it just isn't happening. I don't know what's going on, like if it's like, you know, copyright-wise or something, but it is having trouble reaching production or just release or whatever. It is having some issues. So I'm willing to bet you that it probably will not start this season. But I don't even know what's going to happen at all, honestly. It's been delayed so much. But I'm interested to see it when it comes out. I watched a couple episodes when I was like, God, how old was I when this aired? Like 10? God. So long ago. I could use with some nostalgia though. So when it eventually does air, I'll watch it. I just don't think it's gonna air anytime soon. Sorry. And that's it for the season. I don't know if there's anything else to talk about. There's a bunch of OVAs for random seasons that most of them have already come out actually. Like the Data Live OVA. That one was funny. And then a couple other OVAs for various other shows that you know, are stuff. In fact, I should probably watch the Sunday Without God OVA because it's episode 13. Probably a good idea. Yeah, just essentially a bunch of stuff. Movie-wise, I don't know if I even want to talk about the movies because none of these are actually going to come out anytime soon. I mean, they'll get released in theaters, but they're not going to get, like, translated until, like, you know, a couple seasons from now, so there's no real point in getting you guys hyped up. Except I will talk about the Tiger and Bunny movie. Because, goddamn, I've been waiting for this movie for fucking ever. Please come out soon. I need to watch you. It gets a movie release finally on February 8th. They've been pushing it back to work on it. And then, I don't know what's going to happen, though, as far as subtitles. There's probably going to be a shitty camera as per usual, but I'm going to wait till an actual release. And the DVD disc release of it may come out quickly because the movie itself has been delayed for so long. But goddamn, I've been waiting for this movie, and I really, really want to watch it. I want my Tiger and Money story to come to a conclusion, which it may not come to a conclusion. They may be doing more work. I don't know. But I don't know. Tiger and Money was such a good show, so I'm just really looking forward to the movie. Whenever it gets out and translated and such. But that's it for the winter season. Yay, we made it through another chart, and I only took like an hour and a half to record because I suck and talk too much. Probably gonna have to edit a lot of it out. So that's all for the season. I hope I helped you guys make decisions on the shows, and hopefully, you know, you guys know stuff now, I guess. Yay. So, hopefully winter season turns out better than it usually does. Here's hoping, because I'm picking up a decent amount of shows for once. This is actually the most shows I think I've ever watched in a winter season. I think last winter season I watched like 2 shows, and they were both crap anyways. So here's hoping winter season can turn it around and get better, hopefully. I don't know.